Hello everyone, my name is Alex. I'm a 2000 rated over-the-board chess player, and in this series we're going from 1000 to 2000 D-low in chess.com rapid games, where I'll be explaining my thought process as best as I possibly can for your education and entertainment. And today I'm going to show you how to play the Vienna. We don't get to play the Vienna Gambit, which would occur after knight to f6 and f4, but instead we have the Max Lang defense. So we're going to go bishop to c4 and see what my opponent plays. Play tends to continue with either bishop to c5, which gets into some insane lines after queen to g4, or with knight to f6, which is kind of the more solid approach from black. And that's what my opponent goes for. So I'm going to play d3. We secure our center. h6 is an odd move. That's not a good move. Okay, it's not terrible, but like it's off the money. I'm not going bishop g5, because if I do, let's say here black plays, I don't know, bishop e7, which is a solid move. Like, I'm not going bishop g5. Even if you go bishop c5, I'm still not going bishop g5. That's not the point. The idea is, so on move 2, if black plays knight to f6, then we go f4. If you want to learn those lines, by the way, I've got loads of videos on my channel in the Vienna, and I also have a full Vienna course on my channel, which I'll probably link below. But the point of this setup is to get the bishop on c4, the knight on c3, the pawns on d3 and e4. So we dominate the d5 square, which is a big idea. And then we play the move f4, and we apply pressure to the e5 square. Now with take, because we've played d3, we can just take back with the bishop. No issue. Okay, now lines get complicated. Now it gets complicated. Because if we go knight f3, my opponent can play knight to g4, trying to invade on f2. If I take on e5... No. I think the idea might be to take with the f-pawn. I've had these types of positions previously. f5 might actually be the move. Thinking about it. f5 might be the move, because knight g4 can't be played, because my queen will take. We could actually consider knight to a4, going after the bishop, but I think the bishop drops back to e7, and then wires my knight on a4. If we're going to go knight a4, we probably have to wait for the move d6, so the bishop doesn't have a way to retreat. If we go knight f3 and knight to g4, we could take on e5. However, black could just take back, and I don't really achieve anything. Okay. So yes, okay. f5 is a move. We could take on e5. After knight to e5, we don't really have d4 because our bishop hangs, which would otherwise be a good move. Very complicated position. f5 does look good. If castles... See, the issue is, in a lot of these lines, right? In a lot of these lines, we can go knight to f3, and on knight g4, we counterattack with knight g5. So we counterattack f7, and typically white's attack is stronger than black's attack. However, here, because of the inclusion of the move h6, it doesn't work, because I just lose a knight for nothing, right? Which is why I'm hesitating, and why I'm unsure of the position. h3 doesn't make sense, because we weaken this diagonal too much. So I don't really want to play h3. So, okay. I could take, but it doesn't make sense, really. I could go knight f3, but knight g4, and I'm not sure what I'm doing there. That doesn't look good. d4 also doesn't really work. Or does it? Wait, do I have d4? I don't think so. No. Okay. So I could go f5. I don't really want to play f5, but I think I should. Let's play f5. It's a very common idea in the Vienna to lock this bishop completely out of the game with the move f5, and also just apply pressure to the light squares, particularly since this pawn has gone to h6. The g6 square is only kind of defended. I mean, for example, if black were to castle here, g6 is undefended because the f-pawn would be pinned to the king. And obviously my pawn can't go to g6, right? But we control the g6 square very nicely. My opponent could choose to move d6, which looks pretty natural. And I'm not 100% sure what we play there to be... Oh, no, d6, we go knight a4. I do have to watch out for the move d5, though, if my knight no longer defends that square. However, he would first have to deal with the threat on the bishop. So let's say d6, knight a4, bishop b6, take. I don't actually have time to control this square again. I don't have the time. So if like knight f3, d5, take, that doesn't look good. Okay, knight d4. Wow. What is that? What is that? Not something I considered. That's for sure. Well, knight f3 looks pretty good here. On knight g4, I can probably take on e5. And I have really good play against f7. Yeah, this just looks good. I'm not sure what knight d4 does. Oh, wait, no, I can't take here. Sorry. The knight controls that. Even so, I'm not really concerned about knight g4. This knight just blocks the bishop's path. So, yeah, that looks fine. A trade is in my favor. 100,000,000% in my favor. That looks suicidal for black to trade like that. If knight g4 could... Oh, no, we can just take, actually. And black is lost, I think. Yes. Because if he takes back, I'll take the knight. And if he takes my knight, I will take on g7, attacking the rook and f7. Rook f8 is forced. Then I can take back. Or I can even play bishop takes h6, maybe. Bishop takes h6 isn't going anywhere, to be fair. Or actually, no. The more... Oh, no, bishop h6. I'm trying to go bishop g5, forcing bishop e7, and then f6. But regardless, it's winning. It's winning. So you can't go knight g4. If knight g4 take and you try and throw in queen to h4 check to defend the knight, I have g3. If queen to h3, you don't have time to pick up my knight on d4. So, what? Can I just bring the knight back? It looks dangerous. It does look dangerous. So I'll have to figure that out when we get there. Have to figure it out. Knight g4. Take, queen h4, g3, queen h3, trying to come into g2. Yeah, it's a tough one, to be fair. Knight here. I think I should be fine there. I mean, I'm up a whole piece. I should be able to survive that. By the way, if you're enjoying the video so far, please drop a like and subscribe. I would really appreciate it if you haven't already. Okay, queen e7 is definitely a more passive approach. It's not necessarily wrong, but it's more passive. We also have knight d5 in the future if we want it. It might actually be a good move now to prepare the move c3 to force the knight to trade or retreat, which is a common idea in the Vienna. We could even consider the move knight to a4, going after the bishop. Bishop to d6 isn't a great square for the bishop, but I also can't really attack it again. Bishop e3 would be a mistake, because knight c2, queen c2, and bishop takes e3 is problematic. I can't castle because the knight takes on f3 with double check, and I just lose a piece for nothing. So I do have to be a bit careful here. I'd love to do this, but it doesn't really work. I could do this. If take, I prepare the move c3. c6, bishop back. d5 can't be executed just yet. If, like, b5, though, bishop back, the knight can take. I lose my strong light squared bishop, which I don't really want to do. Don't really want to do that. So, okay. Okay, what happens if I just take? What about if I just take? If knight takes, pawn takes, knight e2, that's good. Yes. Although maybe d5. No, d5 is an issue, I think. This is not simple. Not simple at all. What else do we have? What else do we have? I've never had this kind of position in the Vienna before. Very interesting. I don't want to let d5 happen. One of the big ideas of the Vienna is don't let d5 happen. So, okay, what if I do go knight d5? What was my issue with that? In knight d5, bishop d5, c6, bishop c4, b5, bishop b3, take, d5. That doesn't look fun. That doesn't look great. To be honest, I don't like that. I could play a3, giving my bishop an escape and potentially preparing b4. That makes sense. a4 makes less sense because I want the option to play b4 and I also want to take away the dark squares from my opponent's bishop. So I think I like a3. Because I don't want to trade this bishop, particularly because black can't play bishop d6, bishop e6, which is like a very Italian way of dealing with the light squared bishop for white. Black doesn't have that option because we have the pawn on f5 stifling the black position. And g6 is most likely way too risky to be opening up the king like this. Obviously, if the king is castled, it's out of the question. Yeah, okay, g6 obviously can't happen now, which is good. Good news. We could go b4, kicking the bishop. Bishop back to b6. Knight a4, we win the bishop. That looks good. If we play it now, bishop d6. If we go b4, bishop d6. Take. That doesn't look amazing, but the bishop on d6 sucks. We can even go bishop b2, but I don't really want to. I think we castle there, actually. Can he sacrifice? No, I have bishop d2. So, no. Let's go b4. Okay. Bishop goes back to b6. I still can't castle, but I can chase the bishop. I think. Yes. Yes, that works. The bishop's out of squares. And once I get rid of this bishop, I can castle, and I should be better. One, because my bishop is fantastic, and he's lost his fantastic bishop. Two, I have space in the center, which is good. Three, I have my f5 pawn, which is a massive asset, right in the heart of the black position. Four, I would say this bishop is also very powerful. Compare this bishop to this bishop. Like, they serve effectively the same function, or they would like to serve the same function in both positions. However, mine hits a weak h6 pawn and has fantastic scope, whereas this bishop stares at a brick wall. So, you know, not very impressive. It will be so interesting to run this game through the engine at the end of the game, too, because I have never faced a setup like this in the Vienna before. I have played so many Vienna positions in my life. I would say I'm a pretty good Vienna player. I have never faced one like this. At least not in this manner. Like, h6 is an odd move. Okay, yeah. I should have been more aware of that. That was something I saw before, but I didn't consider in this position. Yeah, because f5 is actually weak there. Okay, well, I should start by taking the bishop. You can't take, because I'll just take with the knight, or I'll take your rook. It doesn't work, so you have to take the knight. Taking with the a pawn is the only move that really makes sense, I think. And then I have to take on d5, really. Because if I retreat my bishop, then black will just win a pawn. And then f5 will also fall. So, okay. ab6, ed5, bishop f5, most likely. I probably have to get castled quickly. So castles. C. Okay, you can take with a c pawn, I suppose. Not wrong, just interesting. If here, can my opponent push e4? No, I'll just take the knight. That's fine. Yeah, this is fascinating. Fascinating. My opponent's playing an excellent game of chess so far. Like I said, I've never seen this setup before. I am sure there is probably a way to punish it better than I have done. Like, I don't know, maybe f5 was the wrong idea. Maybe knight to f3 was better, and knight g4, I just shouldn't have been so worried. Maybe that was what I should have done. But, you know, it's tough to say. Maybe I should have gone h3. But this is the position I chose. This is what I'm going to live with. I think my opponent's probably trying to figure out, can he play e4 in some manner? But I don't think so. I think he has to. Okay. Yeah, I mean, he can go b5, sure. I'll drop my bishop back, I think. Could I take? No, I can't do that. Also, you can just take with check, actually. So that really doesn't work. So, yeah, I don't really see another option. I'll have to drop the bishop back. a5 would also be a good move. Probably have to go bishop d2 to try and defend there. Yeah, black is really coming at me. Really coming at me. Finding very accurate moves, for sure. Okay, he takes on f5. We should probably get castled. So let's get castled. My d-pawn is a passed pawn. So I suppose I could consider moves like c4 to try and hold on to it. Which could be a really good asset, actually. Could be a really good asset. I also have the bishop pair, which shouldn't be too understated. By the way, I would have loved to take here, but taking comes with check. Now, however, I am threatening this to take the knight, and after pawn takes, I win the bishop. So I don't think my opponent's going to fall for that trap, but it exists in the position, and he will have to deal with it, maybe with a move like bishop back to g6, which would waste some time, which is great. And I can maybe get the move c4 in, and then take. I can't take and then go c4 because there's en passant. So if like bishop g6, I'd have to play c4 first. Okay, he goes bishop to g4. Makes sense. Makes sense. Threatening to double my pawns. Don't think there's a whole lot I can do about that. Probably c4 is the move. Yeah, c3. No, that doesn't help. That doesn't help. I think I just ignore him. If c4, e4. Take. Queen takes. That looks a bit scary. Not gonna lie. That does look scary. Can I stop e4? I don't know. Bishop b2? If e4, then I'll take the knight. That's fine. So here, if we get this trade, then e4 can never happen. Bishop b2 can't be a bad move, actually. It's just an active diagonal. And my bishops could actually come alive at some point. Let's say I get like c4, c5, d6 in. My bishops would be incredibly powerful behind those pawns. Of course, that will take me a few moves to execute, though, if I get the chance at all. My opponent may also be concerned about me snapping the knight off and the fact that he won't be able to double my pawns anymore because I'll just be able to take with the queen. So he may rush into a trade, which I think is good for me. I mean, like, knight takes pawn takes, bishop h3, rook e1. My king looks exposed, and maybe it is. Maybe the knight can come to f4 and cause some havoc. But e5 is tender, and there are ways that I can transfer my bishop to, like, g3 and just hold everything together. So there's a lot of fight left in this position. A lot of fight left from both sides. This is not going to end in a passive manner. This is going to be a bit of a bloodbath. Okay, he takes. Let's take. I don't really have a choice. How's he going to do this? A5 looks natural. Yeah, he goes for it. Queen e1 looks like a good move. I'm threatening to take because of the pin on the queen. However, I blunder c2, so it doesn't quite work. I could go c3, attacking the knight. Knight to f5. Rook e1 does work, but f3 looks very tender. Of course, if take, then I take, and there's still a pin on the queen. Taking shouldn't be discarded, but I'd rather not. I'd rather not. c4, I'm just losing this pawn, so I don't really want to do that. Bishop c3 is a move. If you take, then take. However, bishop c3, rook c8, and what's my bishop doing? It looks really exposed, which I don't want. Okay. Rook e1 does look tempting. It does look tempting. Of course, it looks like my king is very weak, and maybe it is, but it looks difficult to really do anything about. Rook e1, okay, what can my opponent do? He can't go all in on the attack just yet. Like, he can't just sack the knight and go knight h5. It's not quite there yet. So rook e1. Let's say he just moves the queen. Let's say he goes queen d6, just stepping out of the pin. Well, then maybe I have f4. I like the look of the move rook e1. I also have to keep an eye on this, though, because it could be a problem. But it gives my opponent a bit of a dilemma. And also just gives me an active rook, right? Which should be hopefully useful. Yeah, okay, queen d6. Do I have f4? I think I do. Rook e8? Take, check. That looks terrifying. What else do I have? I could go c3, attacking the knight. Knight f5, c4, threatening the e5 pawn. If the knight goes back here, then I even have c5, pushing d6, and that looks really strong. I think I like the look of that. Let's do it. c3. I'm also having to make quicker decisions because of the time situation. I'm constantly aware of how weak my king is, by the way. Like c4, I've got to be concerned about queen b6 check. However, I have c5 there, so that's okay. I mean, I could just move my king as well, but this is a time-sensitive position, so I don't want to have to move my king. Let's go c4. If take, probably take, right? That looks good. And my pawns could become very powerful. Mental position. If the knight comes back to d4, c5, Queen can't go to e7 because I'll take the knight. Queen d7. I just win the pawn, no? So let's say queen c7. Well, then I just attack the queen and disconnect it from e5. This looks really promising. This looks really promising. And yeah, the bishop pair might just dominate the knight pair in this position. Okay, wow. I didn't think that was playable. Oh, wait. Is the idea that after takes, you give a check on b6? Ah, maybe that's the idea. Maybe that's the idea. Okay. What happens if I take back? I don't want to. I could take with the rook, though, hitting the knight. I could take with the rook. Knight to h4. Hitting the pawn. It is currently protected, though. What can I play? d4? Trying to go c5? Well, then just take. Here. I don't know. Okay, what else can I do? What else can I do? I don't really want to take here or here, to be honest. If take, then queen takes. Take. Knight to h5. Don't like that. Yeah, this is an interesting idea, which I admittedly did miss. Could I be fancy, though? If here, I could go c5 and after queen takes, go d4. Move like queen c3. I don't actually have a threat, though. I don't have an actual threat, so maybe not. Maybe not. No, I don't have a threat. Take, check. Let's say king h1. Like rook a3, and that doesn't look good. Okay, let's take. Let's take. Maybe I'm blundering this. If take, I'm losing material. Yeah, I did miss that, to be fair. But this is such a complicated position. There's so many things going on. I did say this game is going to end in a bloodbath, and it will. It's not done yet, though. Although if takes... Bishop to c3, there is b4. My bishop's running out of squares. I probably have to take the knight there. Then my bishop gets taken. Rook c1? Can I survive that? Maybe. Maybe. And then try and play c5, d6 at some point. That's an option. Definitely an option. Yeah, the engine's going to have some crazy things to say about this position, which I'm excited to check out afterwards. But for now, we need to focus on not just getting slaughtered in this position, because my king is open, and so is the queen side. But again, we have the bishop pair, and we do have activity against these knights, but will it be enough? Will it be enough? Okay, wow, what? What? What does that move? Okay, I've got to take the knight, surely. Oh no, there's queen g6. Queen g6, wow. And my rook is also under attack. Damn, okay, nice move. Nice move. It's a really nice find. Okay, let's retreat the rook then. I don't see another option. Now I have access to g4, which could be useful. That's a great find. Again, though, we do have counterplay. We do have counterplay. If knight to c5, rook g4. We're not actually threatening anything yet because the knight is defending g7, but we have it in our back pocket. Okay, he takes. My bishop doesn't have a whole lot of squares, does it? Does not have a whole lot of squares. Okay, let's go bishop c3. If b4, then I'm going to go bishop d2. And we do control the b3 square and the a2 square, so the pawns are stopped for the time being. But I do need to try and generate something in terms of counterplay, because it's looking a little bit dire. If knight to c5, I suppose I just go... Yeah, let's drop the bishop back. The queen does have to keep an eye on this pawn, which is useful. If knight c5... Oh, wait, no, have I blundered? Because d3 is undefended. Oh, wait, no, knight c5, I can just take, actually. And you can't take because I'll win the queen. That's a saving grace. Maybe I have time for d4. If I get d4 in, then I have play. I also have bishop f4 potentially. Although that just seems to tickle the queen rather than actually doing anything of value. Wow. But if I get d4 and like, okay, alright. Queen f6. I could just take. I probably should, right? Probably should. I think I have to. I'm going to do it. I don't know if I'm missing something, but I don't see a better option. My queen is defending the rook, so I also take away the c5 square from the knight. Rook c1's an idea. To step out of the firing line and support bishop to c3 to put pressure on the queen and on g7. If the queen ever delivers a check on the g file, I always have rook g4 if I want it. Oh, but wait, I have this? I mean, this seems forced. Knight takes. King moves. Then I lose this. This is nuts. This is nuts. I don't see another option, to be honest. Okay, well, knight takes has to be the move. That looks bad, though, because discoveries are on the way, and my rook is under attack. And this is a big threat. Can I go rook b1? Take with an attack on the knight. He has queen to g6 check, though. I don't have time to win this. If I do this, he has this with a discovered check, and he wins the bishop. Maybe I have to take, which I really don't want to do. I don't see an alternative. Don't see an alternative. That's my good bishop as well. Not what I wanted to do. Wait, maybe d4. Yeah, let's go d4. Okay, I'm down a pawn, and my pawn structure sucks. My king is unbelievably wide open. But I have a passed d-pawn. I have a passed d-pawn. Here, let's just play moves. Let's just play moves that hopefully don't lose the game. I'm trying to keep everything under control. I'm trying to create some semblance of counterplay. It is tough, though. It is tough. b7's hit. g7's under attack. The knight is potentially loose. Queen a6. I wanted the d3 square. but that defends this and stops queen d3. Here, I can't do this because of this. Queen a6 looks strong. Looks very strong. What do I do there? Also, knight e3 is on the way. Okay, queen f6. That's not so bad. Let's go queen d3. Because I have to stop knight e3. He probably will play rook here, I would guess. Which is very concerning. Maybe I have to block, although I don't want to. Okay. If this, I get hit with this. So that's off the table. So, maybe coming here is better? Here, check. Here. 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 Yeah, I'm not sure about this move, but I'm going to play it because I don't want to lose d4. Okay. Not fun. He might even just try and march this pawn down the board. Although if he does go for this, I'll probably just attack him again. Then I can double... Actually, no, I've got rook g1. That's really good. No, I have really good counterplay now. This is dangerous. Rook g1 and even bishop to b1. This is good. No, black's got to be careful. Black's got to be really careful. We're fighting back. Also, f7 could be weak if d6. Although knight coming to d6 might be quite strong. Queen f6, I expect. I don't have this. Because... Oh, no, I can take with a pawn and protect. What am I on about? Oh, that looks really good. If here... I don't see how you defend. g6 doesn't defend it because the pawn is pinned. Wow. You just lose the knight, no? Rook c1, that's a very good move. It's a very good move. Oof, missed that one. I'm going to have to go back. Don't see another option. I can't take the queen because the rook is pinned to the king. That's a really good find from my opponent. This is an idea, maybe. Or there is g6. But maybe I can push d6 and try and cause havoc. d4 is weak. Maybe... Okay. Knight d6 is solid. Okay, let's bring the rook to g1. I'm going to have to move quickly. Bishop b1 looks promising. Depending on what my opponent plays, though. If queen f6, bishop b1 is probably g6, and I'm not sure what I'm doing there. Here g6, take, king f8. That doesn't look good. Doesn't look good. That's a really powerful queen. I can't find moves. There's just nothing. Absolutely nothing. I'm trying to put... The queen defends everything. What a piece. Yeah, I don't even have d6 to try and exploit that. Okay, let's bring the rook to the e-file. Just no moves. And my opponent's got all the time in the world. All the time in the world. I want to sack the pawn on d6 to open my bishop up. Okay, let's take. We control c1. We also control f3. He could take on d4, but then we take this. Queen f2. Queen g3. Queen here, don't know. That's a move, isn't it? That's a move. Oh, wait, no, this is hanging. I don't know how I defend that. I don't know if I can. No, there's nothing. I can't find anything. Yeah, it's completely lost. Wow, I don't know where I went wrong there, actually. Like, my opponent found some incredible moves that game. I mean, yeah, there must... Okay, I'm completely lost here still. He played some stupid accurate moves. Let's have the engine have a look at this, because this is going to be very interesting. Yeah, this game was pretty nuts. Because this position here, right, I could not figure out what to do, and I spent a while on it. And F5 isn't terrible, but it's not the best move. Now, the thing is, right, when bishop c5 is played normally, it's in this position. And after, like, f4, d6, knight to f3, knight to g4, white has knight to g5. And you'll see some of these lines if you watch some of my other Vienna videos in the speedrun, and also my Vienna course video. But the white attack on f7 is really, really powerful. And for example, if black castles, we go f5, bait the knight in, and go queen to h5, and white is completely winning. But the problem is, with the pawn on h6, I was like, well, I can't do this. Because what do I do against knight g4? Where's my counterplay? I was like, if I take here, that's not good. And I'm right, it isn't good. I have to go queen e2? And apparently this is playable, but, like, I don't know. So the move I was supposed to play was either knight to f3 or fe5. Now, of course, I saw this idea and I mentioned it during the game, and I was like, well, I don't really have d4 because this doesn't look all that good for white, and it's not amazing. The pawns are a bit strange, even if the computer says it's fine. But the point is bishop to b3, now threatening d4. I again also saw this idea. But I don't know, something like this, or even just retreating the knight, I was like, well, what am I actually doing? Like, this isn't actually all that comfortable because I can't get myself castled. I suppose I do have this. Although still, castling looks a little bit concerning, but apparently it's fine. But I went for f5, which, like, it's okay, but it's not great. And knight d4 is actually one of the best moves, which is shocking to me. Shocking. Yeah, okay. Well, I went knight to f3. Queen e7. Here, a3 is not amazing. I should have apparently taken, and after this, gone queen to f3. Ah, locking down the d5 square and defending f5. That makes a lot of sense in retrospect. For some reason, I didn't even contemplate this move. But okay, I chose a3. Castles. Here, I have knight d5 apparently, and this is supposed to be good because bishop a2, and my bishop doesn't get trapped. Because in the other line, if I take and no, sorry, not take. If I go knight d5, then after knight d5, bishop d5, c6, bishop c4, one there's d5, but two there's something like this, and I lose my bishop forcibly, which I didn't want to do. So okay, knight to okay, b4 is not great, and knight a4 is also not great because of d5, which I completely missed. Knight b6, cb6 confused me, but okay. Here I apparently should have taken with the bishop, which surprises me. And then just castled. Oh, I guess the point is c4. And now I don't have a bishop locked away on a2. And if bishop g4 now, c4. Interesting position. I went for this, though. Bishop back to a2. Bishop to f5. Castles. The bishop now goes to g4. Bishop to b2. Bishop f3, gf3, and a5. I went for rook e1. Not the best move. I apparently should have taken. Then on queen d2. Okay. I went rook e1. Queen d6. Okay, so I chose c3, which is the second best move. But f4 was actually the move. The reason I rejected the move f4 was on the basis of rook e8. And I was incredibly concerned about this. And I thought I was getting mated. However, I'm not. Well, this gets me mated, though. I would not have liked to have lost like that. I have to find like queen e2. Yeah, okay. I chose c3, knight f5, c4. I felt like I was making progress, but yeah, I chose the wrong piece to take on e5 with. Bishop takes was better, and after queen b6, I found the right idea. c5 queens, because I mentioned this in the game. d4, I saw this line. I didn't see rook c1, though. But still doesn't look great, to be honest. Like, I saw this line. I rejected it, though, and I completely missed. I thought my opponent would play... What did I think he would play? Yeah, ba3, bishop c3, and b4. And then I was going to do this, and I thought this was playable, which it kind of is. But my opponent goes bishop d7, which is a very interesting move, because if I take, then check, and I lose the exchange. So I go rook back to e4, which is the best move. He takes on a3, bishop c3, b4, bishop d2. Now, I thought my opponent might go for knight here, but I realized I have this. He said goes queen f6, which is the best move. How did he find queen f6? I don't see how that's actually natural. Is it just to put the knight on d6? Don't know. I take, and yeah, I blunder this idea of queen b6. To be honest, though, bishop takes b4 is one of the best moves. Rook b1 is slightly more accurate. After b3, oh, I'm completely lost. Because rook b3, knight c5. Okay. Well, I go for this. c5 I thought was the only move, which it is. Knight c5 I have to take and go d4. And I try my best to fight back here. I find some good ideas, but my opponent is just level with me. Well, he just keeps playing the best moves. Queen moves in. I slide the king over. I try rook here. And the thing is, if rook c1 doesn't exist, this is really good counterplay. Like, black can very, very quickly lose this. For example, let's say queen f6. Rook f4, I'm winning. Because g6 doesn't work because the pawn is pinned. So rook c1 is a great find, though. I completely missed this. I have to drop the rook back. Take. Knight d6, again the best move. Queen f4 is also the best move, and it's a really good find. I can't do anything. I just cannot do a thing. He's hitting so many things, protecting so many things. I just can't do anything. Yeah. Try and play some moves. G6 is the best move? I mean, I don't even see what it does. Just defend this? I wasn't going for it anyway. I don't know what that does. I also have nothing like this because the pawn is stuck. Okay. Rook c8. Yeah, that makes sense. I take. And then rook c2. And I mean, there's nothing I can do. I'm getting mated. The only way to prolong it is just to sack my queen. And like, I don't know, go rook e2. But there's no way to defend the mating square. Very interesting game. Very interesting game. And a way in which I have never seen somebody play the Vienna, which I've definitely learned from. I hope you guys have also learned a lot from this game. If you want to see another very interesting Vienna game, check out the video up here. And if you want to see the previous episodes of the speedrun, check out the playlist down here. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in one of those.